Hello everybody, and welcome back to another stream of Boomeadow Build. It was supposed to be Genesis Noir today, but on this wet and wild winter day, I just wasn't really feeling it. So I decided I was going to continue doing some map building. For those of you who enjoy the map building experience, actually seeing the worlds, things like that, I welcome you along for the ride. Feel free to chat, say hi, all that jazz. It is always wonderful to have you here. I love getting to chat to you guys, talk to you, and see what you guys are up to. So, I have been working on this map, which is the Spring Dominion, which is in my version of the Fairylands. This is called SoA, the Feywild in my world, because we're going to be needing this soon. So this is the capital city of the Spring Court. My fairy kingdom is divided up into a whole heap of kingdoms specifically, all based on the seasons, obviously, as the Feywild is wont to do, but each of those seasons has very intrinsic ties to the elements as well. So winter is earth, spring is air, summer is fire, and autumn is water. I do use a lot of Celtic and Norse mythos for my worlds, so yeah, it's a work in progress. This is probably one of the places that I've worked on a lot in terms of figuring out how I want to run it. It does tie a lot into parts of my story that I have already told, because the elemental factions and things like this, I've always found the basis of my world. I do tend to have very strong witchcrafty, paganistic opinion, basically. And I kind of adhere to that. So I like seeing that come to fruition as I create my world the way that I want to. Which is one of the reasons that I really love D&D in general, of just getting to create this world that you can share with people. And I say it to my players all the time, that I do not care if they want to destroy the world, if that's what they want to do. I am very adhering to the idea that to be in my world, to be a player in my games, you have to at least want to be a hero. I tend to do big end of the world style campaigns, the world is ending, you need to save it kind of thing. And so because of that, I do turn around and tell my players that you do need to want to be a hero. You need to at least want to save the world. And that doesn't have to be for good reasons, though. That doesn't have to be altruistic reasons or even reasons for helping somebody else. It can literally just be, I wanted to save the world because, let's be honest, I live in it. And that's all I ask of my players, really. Two things. You have to invest in other players' stories, especially because a lot of my players, as you can see with the Saturday game, they do have the tendency to wander off or separate themselves. Hello, Zephyr. Shapes and colours, yeah. I'll give you a look if you want. Well, that's exactly it. So here you go. This is what we've got so far, and this is all what we've got to do still. But we have a plan. We have a game plan. All of these ones do need names and things like this, so I won't redeem the save just yet, but I will keep it in mind for when I do need to save, when we get to at least 200 pieces on the map, because that will inevitably happen. Yeah, and exactly, Zephyr. Your character wanted to stick it to her crappy parents who had expectations for her. That's all I ask. You have to invest in for it to work in my game, you do have to invest in other people's characters. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. But each to their own as to how that looks. You know? And a big part of that is, and the reason I say that you as the not specifically you, Zephyr, but people as players in my game need to invest in other characters, is I do tend to find that a lot of my players do run off and have a lot of solo moments. I mean, I end up having a lot of very distractible players. So there are situations where people will end up sitting, listening to someone roleplay for a while. I do try to keep a limitation on how long that time is. Like, it is, because I obviously don't want people to sit here going, I never get to do anything. I just want to do my own thing. You know, I do try to balance it out, but yeah, we see how that goes basically. Can I select this title? Will you let me? Yes, there we go. Which means I can put a label on this. So how are you today, Zephyr? I hope you have a beverage of choice. I've got coffee and I have a tea at the moment. I do not blame you for wanting to eat the tree stars. We love a good tree star. I loved The Land Before Time. Yeah, I absolutely loved The Land Before Time. I thought it was a beautiful movie. Oh, yeah, totally. See, I know a lot of people feel iffy about it, but I love the relationship between Ducky and Petrie. Now, I'm looking for the tavern here, having no luck finding it. This one. Oh, I completely agree. Ducky is absolutely adorable. I might change the colour on this, purely because the question is what colour. Oh, I like that one. And bring up the saturation a bit. Contrast just. Well, that's a nice way to have a last day then. Ah, that is true. Unfortunately, I don't have that problem. I am my own boss, so if I don't have Coke in the fridge, it's my own fault. Not that I drink a lot of Coke. At the moment, I've been drinking a lot of coffee, obviously, a lot of tea, but there is a particular brand of like a particular colour of Monster I like, and it's like the turquoise orangey one that's like a mango tropical flavour. When I do choose to partake in the drinks, in the energy drinks, I don't drink a lot of energy drinks. I find in a lot of ways they don't actually help me all that much. They don't actually help me all that much in terms of helping me feel energized the same way that they do some other people. Depending on how overtired I am, they can just make me feel nauseous, which is never a good feeling. Yeah. Oh, see, I love a good curried egg sandwich. The thing that I've been kind of rocking at the moment, when, we do end up going to Woolworths, which is not a lot at the moment, because we much prefer Aldi, like I'm sure a lot of Australians do. They have this really amazing 36-hour potato and rosemary sourdough. I've been loving that. I love it with roasted tomatoes on it. I love even just on its own with just butter, it's good. Yeah, it is really tasty. This one should probably put it down here. Yes, garlic, bacon and mushrooms sounds really good. I've been enjoying a French style with like roasted I do it with a little bit of balsamic as well. Roasted balsamic, cherry tomatoes, bocconcini and confit garlic, and you roast. So you take the bread and you roast it with the tomatoes and the confit garlic pieces and stuff on top of it. And then you just kind of squeeze it out when it's ready. And like smoosh it together, and it's so good. Yeah, I haven't even started on the tavern menus for this place yet. So yes, haven't started with the tavern menus yet, but we'll get around to them slowly. My lunch will most likely be leftovers, which, not gonna lie, the leftovers are still like tonkatsu pork and katifi, which is a lovely Greek dessert, but we'll see. So yes, I've gone through and I've named all my businesses, and I'm slowly getting around to it. See, I end up getting torn because I'm like, I need to finish each of the districts, but at the same time I want to go through and name everything. Unless you guys have some interesting names for things, of which I'm always open to opinion. surprised. A lot of names end up just being really good puns. And I mean, you say, you know, you have to be really creative. We literally have two harbours in this world. We have the one in here, over here, which as soon as I see it, so over here we have Kev's big port for little boats, and somewhere in the world I do have to put in Evil's big little port for big boats. Unless, have I already put it over here somewhere? No, I haven't. So yeah, I do need to put that in as well. So, you know, they are just two places. And the only ones I really veto is if they're too salacious, or it's just outrightly derogatory, or, you know, because I do have to keep a bit of a limitation on certain things. But, you know, who am I to say how people name things? We have some pretty wild things named here in Australia. So who am I to say it's a wrong naming principle? I need an apothecary, which I have very special apothecaries. I made, oh yes, my glamour store. I mean, we do have Boaty McBoatface, like, we do have a tendency to name things like Boaty McBoatface and things like this, so Earthly Leaf, according to my notes, is run by a Sporemaster Myconid. Hasn't got a name for him yet. I'm slowly going through and naming all of the NPCs as well. Ooh, I get to use... Where are you? I know that I put it in here. Apiaries, yes. So this is a beekeeper's place for all your honey wax needs. Now, I don't know, like, because I randomly generated all of the business owners as well. Like, I use a wheel of randomization and put in all of my available species and sub-races and things like that within that. And I just roll for them. So, I don't know, is it a smart choice that a beekeeping business is run by what is my version of the Warlord, the Clockwork Automatons? Is that a smart choice or a bit of a silly choice? Having a Clockwork Automaton run a beekeeping situation. see, yeah, that's exactly it, because they're unlikely to get stung, so... And these are my coffee shops. Knew this was coming. I was going, I had just thought to myself, I haven't done one of these in a while. Owlies, it is my fantasy fast food place. Where you can get your own little owlbear meal. Just the one. It's got, well, it's because it's a very material plain thing, and this is the Feywild, so they don't have a lot of things like that. I want to see. This wasn't what I was thinking. Let's have a look and see if they have something that I want. Or am I just going to have to build my own? Chances are I'm likely going to build my own. Yeah, they don't have what I want. However, I do like these runestones, which might actually help me. However, I do have to make them significantly smaller. Now, this is going to be a druid sec over here. Actually, that in mind, I might actually use this as an altar in the center. And then we'll actually use these standing stones. is going to be a druid circle, which I do want to do a couple of things in here. The first of which we're going to have to colour up with some grass. Thing I need is I do need like a dirt colour. Which I tend to like something that's a little bit more detailed like this, but I'm also not happy with the colour. So the first thing we do and then we also bring the size down, otherwise the stones are going to make it look really... Thanks, Zephyr. I will do a quick save using your channel point before you leave. Your request. There we go. In the process of saving. Oh, thank you for the posture check as well. That is wonderful. I very much appreciate that. Have a good day, Zephyr. Better bring it down to 7. Down to everything in the catalogue to load in. So I can find something that I think looks appropriately beehive-like. I want to use a little crate, or do I want it to be something circular? Would a barrel be more appropriate? I actually think I like the barrel better. So just doing a save. Will be a platform, yes. Considering that's the largest one, I should probably bring it down just a bit. Because it can really only be used on the biggest of trees. That one's already got one in it. Like that. Yes. Question is, if you lived in a tree-like city like this, would you prefer to live on the ground level, the second floor, the second story, or the third story? Which would you prefer? Would you go for potential advantages as living up in the trees, or what would you do? prefer? Would you go for safety? The safety of the tree height? Or would you prefer living on the ground floor where your feet are firmly on the ground? Which would be your preference? I am intrigued. I know it might seem a bit excessive to put these under here when a lot of them won't even be seen. But there is always a chance it will poke out just a little bit. And that's why I do it. Even though 90% of them, probably closer to 95% of them, won't even be seen. That's that one. I have a feeling it's going to be another platform. This is the hardest thing about it, actually. Did I get a platform? Yes. just a little bit. Okay, yes. Okay. That one's already done, so I don't want to do that one. Put a shadow on all of these ones.
get up today? Whoa. And are you doing okay? Whoa. Did you leave it all behind you? Or did you take it away? Whoa. Life will lead you in the right direction if you let it.
Save. so here's a gate. I'm going to make sure there's a road across here. That's good. Now there will be a massive road out here. Now here's the thing, because this is an outer suburb, I'm going to have to take some liberties with where the roads are. Thank you, El Sarge, for the subscribe. We appreciate you being here. Well, anything I can do to help is I am happy to advise. I will say I have had to make some custom tokens for these maps just because I don't have the variety of shops that I would need, just because I am a bit over the top when deciding what kind of shops and stuff I should put into my map, purely because I don't like having to think about that stuff on the fly. So I think about what my cities would need from an infrastructure purpose. So everything, and because this is the Feywild, I'm like, okay, well, it would obviously, they've been through a bit of a modern integration coming from Anthalamir, which is the material plane. So they would have like arms dealers dealing in firearms and things like this. But because it is the Feywild, iron is completely banned as a case in point. Silver less so, but the handling of iron and silver, because they are used in spell components, are heavily regulated. Because, yeah, they don't want just anyone to be able to get their hands on it, because they're things that could harm the Fae. So, yeah, had to think about that. Had to think then, okay, well, what kind of weapons would, not just weapons would they have, but like what kind of armor would they have or created from that point to combat that. And I'm like, okay, well, what would they be using to combat this kind of stuff? And this led me to learn about, and this is where, you know, there's just the real world building nerd in me kind of happens, that it made me look into lamellar plating, because obviously we don't necessarily want everything to be Kevlar, but I'm like, okay, so we can do ceramic and resin plating and things like this, and realistically with an infusion of magic and whatnot, depending on what kind of components they have to build with and that kind of thing, they may within their rights be able to infuse those things to make them more powerful and stronger and things like this, you know. Because the one thing I had to take into consideration was, because the group is starting in the Feywild, a lot of them are born in the Feywild. So they're not going to, you know, have a lot to do with metal and things like this. So I had to think about that, and the fact that almost all of my players, because of that fact, can't be charmed. So, you know, that's going to be fun. But I also wanted to make it so that if and when they did come up against the material plane, as they're going to do at some point, they weren't going to be heavily outgunned. Because, yeah, that's the last thing that you kind of want, is your players to feel absolutely helpless. So that was something that I did think about, work on, and kind of try to realize, like, what would I need to make the world function. And I will admit, I don't do it perfectly. Obviously, I'm not going to think of every single shop and business that they're going to need, just because that possibility is endless. So, you know. But the way I kind of combat that is I Google medieval businesses and things like this. So the fact that this is a Feywild, they would still have boas and fletchers and things like that. But even little things like, okay, well, if they want to craft their own kind of stuff, well, what are they going to need? Well, Hasa, for example, he is an alchemist. So he needs to be able to find magical components and things like this. Some of it he is going to have to go hunt down himself, and he is aware of that his character is going to have to actually go and get that kind of stuff. But some stuff that is really common, he might be able to go to the local apothecary or even the butcher's to get the stuff that he needs for his infusions and things. But that also means then that I needed to put in a butcher so that he could do that. On the off chance that he wants to go do that, of course. Every district also needs to have a tavern for obvious reasons. Some of the hardest things can just be finding buildings that I find would look good for certain things that I want to basically utilize. And then obviously placing the trees and things like that. I want to make sure that I've got enough so people can see the building underneath and things like this. This is where it starts, especially with these maps where it's all very clustered, it starts to get very busy. are you, booksellers? That's a glamour store. See, that's a runesmith, which I don't inherently want a runesmith. I want... I'll go with you. Now here's another one that I should really make a... See, I do like the flower beds. See, because it would need to be so big, it is just another clutter. I'd love to have the flower beds in, but it's just more clutter that I don't necessarily need. Now, I am looking, I got distracted, but what I am looking for is the not gothic version of this. Here we go. However, I do want it to look like candy. Which it is going to need to be bigger than... But I think I'm going to have to... much as I like the blue on that. As long as it kind of looks like candy, that works. I just noticed something as well. So now this should put all the text on level 5, because we don't want any of our text to be hidden. Having a dumb moment of how to spell bureau. Okay. These are dream memory dealers, basically. which memory and dreams are kind of in the same bracket in this world. So now the hard part is I've actually put a lot of these buildings in close together. So might make a smaller living space here. You actually need to go up. Yes, so create a smaller living space over here. Which, if I come in here to this, that's this one, this one. Okay. Which the under tree of this. Which incidentally this didn't do what I wanted it to do. problem is, I think, the tree that it's on. There we go, that looks a bit better. For now, that will do. Figuring that out was a bit of a headache, but we got there in the end. Whew. Okay. And I think with these bridges placed... Oh, got one out here. Place these last bridges, and then I think that might be the stream for today. Okay. There we go. I think that will make our stream for today, as we've gotten 1.5 districts done. I will continue slowly working on this. I'm hoping to get it done in the next week or so though, because chances are the players would like to head there at some point in the nearish future. Depending on how fast things go in the Saturday game. I believe they still have 2 bounties that they took that they've been given basically 24 hours, although one has been given a little bit longer. Because they have to go meet some people, talk to some people. However, they have gotten slightly distracted dealing with the dream space and dealing with what's going on with Crisis and things like that. So we will have to have a look into that. I do know that Blake and Hasa want to discuss with Breeze what's going on with her life. So we will see. However, this is the end of today's map stream. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. It was wonderful to have you here, those who dropped in to say hi. If you want to catch up or just say hi or leave me any messages, you can do so on my YouTube channel, Boomeadow. Otherwise, you can reach out to me on Twitter, which is Booberry Meadows. We will be back. I will be back on Saturday for the next installment of State of Anarchy, if you would like to join us. That starts at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which you can see all the information about that down below in my About section. Otherwise, just keep your eyes out. If you aren't following me yet, please do. Turn on your notifications so you know when I go live. And you can catch up on all of these on my YouTube channel, because I do re-upload them to there. So I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world. Drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, look after yourselves, and I will see you all on Saturday night for State of Anarchy. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.